Any diet which does not follow these three killers, you want to avoid like a pride parade in June. That stuff is not good for you. It's going to leave you scarred for the rest of your life. Yo, good morning, bro. Have you ever felt like you could be so much more efficient at life, output so much more, if you had a solid, simple, easy, and instant diet to move you forward, but you struggle to get there? Believe me, I know the struggle you're going through. Nowadays, everybody tells you something completely differently about diet. You have scientists telling you to go plant-based because it's healthier and it's better for your body and the environment. You have scientists telling you that plants are actually toxic. You should eat mostly meat. People telling you to only eat liver. You have scientists telling you that you can't actually see how a single nutrient will affect your overall biochemistry. And all these people, they act like, and then you also have this ministry propaganda we were taught in school, this absolute garbage information about the food pyramid, which makes no sense whatsoever. The government really selling our souls for corporate interests. But all of these people act like they are the Messiah. They have the holy answers. And if you question their views on diet whatsoever, it's like you spit on their mom. But the reality is almost all of these people have absolutely no idea what they're talking about because they only see diet through one particular lens. And the perfect diet, which I'm going to teach you in this video, will follow all three pillars, which is fairly easy to do with a couple tweaks to your current diet. You will be amazed at how far you will go in life. So the first thing I do when I wake up is get my large water bottle and fill it up with water from my reverse osmosis water filter. This is what it looks like right here. The reason why you don't want to drink regular tap water is because it's absolute garbage. It's full of so many nasty toxins in there. You have herbicides, you have pesticides, you have insecticides, you have chlorine, you have arsenic, you have lead, EE2, lots of nasty toxins, including hormone disruptors, which you do not want inside of your body. In fact, these things will cause you everything from kidney failure, reproductive failure. They'll cause hormone disruption. They'll give you issues with your bladder. They'll cause cancer. They'll make you obese, including gynecomastia, and so much more. One of these toxins in our tap water actually gets added in from the government, and that is fluoride. They add it in to prevent tooth decay in children, but fluoride has been shown to build up in the pineal glands of your brain. And we don't exactly know how the brain works. So the last thing you want to do is start adding some toxins in it that literally calcify and stay in there your whole life. Another one of these toxins is EE2, which is an estrogenic birth control hormone. Essentially, women who are on the birth control pill, they take the pill and then they pee this hormone into our water supply. And our water supply, our tap water, our shower water, is not some natural water from a spring and then it goes into the ocean. It is retreated and recycled by the government, who we both know are a bunch of incompetent idiots. The same water you pee and poop is the same water you drink. And hormones are not living creatures like bacteria. They can't be killed off with UV light or with chlorine, so they exist in our water supply. But the tap water you drink literally has birth control hormones inside of it. It is going to make you fat, sick, infertile, and cause a bunch of issues, which is why I highly recommend you pick up some sort of system to treat the water you drink with. The one that I have right here, as I mentioned, is reverse osmosis, but it does have other filters in here as well, pre-carbon, post-carbon, etc. Essentially, every morning and maybe once or twice during the day, depending on how much water I drink, I simply just fill it up, hit this button, and I'm good to go. Now, treating your water is a subject I've covered in other videos, a bit of a longer one, but if I was gonna sum it up, do you seriously trust the government to make sure the water you drink is actually safe? If you go to the Environmental Working Group, EWG.org, you can type in your zip code and see how nasty all that stuff is. And that's even assuming it meets the government standards, which are already absurdly low. And who even is in charge of public health? It was like some 60-year-old dude, doesn't even know what gender he is. You trust him, who's only talked about transgender rights for the past like 3 years, to make sure the water you drink, the food you eat is healthy? No, it is our responsibility to make sure we are putting in the best quality stuff inside of us, and we drink water every single day for our entire lives, and quite a lot of it if you exercise. So make sure it is pristine. But my water bottle filled up now. And for a bit of a backstory, I've struggled with food for basically my entire life. I spent my childhood years obese because my family owned a gas station, very typical, and I was filling myself up with this just garbage snacks, those purple Dorito chips, those vanilla wafer straws, which honestly tasted pretty good. Then I spent my high school years very skinny fat when I was running long distance track, and I've always struggled with bloating, with constipation, with diarrhea. I've always just resented going to the bathroom because of the damage it would cause to me to be sitting there for such a long time. And then after that, when I started getting to the gym, I dealt with severe constipation and problems. I was putting in so much protein out of my body, and everywhere I went to for help, nobody seemed to know what the answers were. I mean, they would all pretend like, oh yeah, go keto or go vegan or do this or do that. But I tried all that stuff out and it didn't actually help me whatsoever. I never felt like I was actually truly healthy. Then I was also struggling with acne. I never really knew how many carbs or what amount of macros or the protein that I needed. Everyone gave me different answers online. And I struggled with this problem for a very, very long time until I read the book Outlive by Peter Attia, which is probably the best book I've ever read on how to actually live longer and be healthier as you age. And in the book, he covers diet, which he said that in the past he obsessed over as well. But he realized that most people who talk about diet go to the unnecessary extremes. In reality, the perfect diet will follow 3 key pillars. And the first key pillar is being metabolically healthy. All right, so first meal, 90 minutes after we wake up, will be 60 grams of 100% grass-fed and grass-finished whey protein powder. Combine that with some organic cacao powder, some creatine, and we're gonna mix it all up with that reverse osmosis water inside of a glass container. Now, being metabolically healthy is a fancy way of saying that the foods you eat cannot affect how your body functions and how your body communicates with itself negatively. For example, foods that are full of excess sugars are just bad for you. I don't know why this is like a debated topic, but sugar will raise your insulin levels, basically prevents your hormones, aka your body's like chemical messaging system, from talking to itself. It'll lower your testosterone, so foods high in sugar are not part of a perfect diet. Another example are fast foods, fried foods, or pre-processed packaged snacks. These contain seed oils that come from inedible plants like soybean or canola oil. They're made from refined carbs, refined grains. In the refining process, they also lose a lot of their vitamins, minerals, fibers. These make your body incredibly inflamed, which increases your risk of chronic diseases, cancer, heart attack, etc., and also cause excessive weight gain. So these are not metabolically healthy. Another example is soy. Soy is a phytoestrogen. It will raise your body's estrogen levels and tank its testosterone to absurdly low amounts. Do not be consuming soy, regardless of whatever propaganda you hear about it being healthy. Soy is a straight toxin. Now, generally speaking, the best way to tell if a food is actually metabolically healthy is to ask yourself, is this a whole food I can chew and name? Potato, celery, broccoli, chicken breast, T-bone steak. Anything that comes pre-made, it's pre-packaged, it's in plastic, some of these like fake healthy food, it's like a plastic container. Oh, it's plant-based, some garbage like that. You do not want to be putting inside of your body. Stick with whole foods you can point to and name, and you basically cross off this list of being metabolically healthy. However, there are some toxins that get sprayed on foods you should be aware of. Herbicides, pesticides, insecticides, which will cause a ton of damage to your body. For example, atrazine is the second most common herbicide we use in the United States, and it is so dangerous, it is completely banned in all of Europe. So the best way to get around that is to buy organic foods, because these are required to be free of synthetic herbicides, pesticides, and insecticides. Yes, the synthetic stuff allowed us to feed the world at a very cheap price and saved us all from hunger and all this stuff. We are not villagers, though. We hold ourselves to higher standards. Sure, it costs more money, but you know your health is well worth it. This is absolutely delicious. But let's break it down. So 60 grams of protein. Why 60? 60 is the most your body can consume that will go to your muscles. Anything over that, the rest of your body steals up, your kidney, your liver, etc. And we want grass-fed, grass-finished whey protein powder. And grass-fed, grass-finished, meaning the cows that produce it have only been fed grass their whole life. Haven't been fed grains, which have nasty herbicides like atrazine sprayed on them. And grains are also stored for months at a time in grain cellars where mold and fungi grow on. So imagine now the cow that you're getting your protein from, these moldy grains that have had nasty herbicides put on them. When those cows produce their dairy, or you get the meat from those cows, it will be very toxic to your body. So we're going for grass-fed, grass-finished. This protein powder is linked in the description in my power products and my kits. And then we're adding in some creatine, because it's the most widely researched supplement ever. It's been increased energy output, muscle mass, and overall power. And lastly, we're adding in cacao powder for that bit of a caffeine boost, not having to actually drink coffee. Of course, it is organic cacao powder. And when you add it, you should drink no earlier than 90 minutes after you wake up. Anything earlier than 90 minutes and it will cause a crash later in the afternoon. Pro tip from Andrew Huberman. And then lastly, we're mixing it up in a glass container because plastic is absolutely nasty. It is a hormone disruptor. So swap out any of your plastic like protein shaker cups for glass ones. This right here is meal number 1. Two things I forgot to mention. One, I take an omega-3 vitamin D 2-in-1 supplement. This one is 5,000 IU. Don't just take my supplement because I recommend it. Do a blood test to see how deficient you are in vitamin D, because you definitely are. and see what level you need to supplement to. The reality is we just do not spend enough time outdoors nowadays, and even if we did, you put yourself at risk of skin cancer, which is why vitamin D is very, very essential, and it's hard to get entirely from your diet. So I highly recommend the vitamin D supplement once you've gotten a blood test done to see what level you need to supplement to. And then omega-3s are shown to reduce estrogenics in your body, which are just hormone disruptors. Then additionally, I take a chewing gum supplement like 24/7 because our ancestors spent about 1/3 of their day just chewing tough, hard foods, tree bark, fibrous vegetables, tough meat. And in our modern day, we just don't chew anywhere to the level that we should be chewing, time-wise or hardness-wise. So you pop in one of these jawliner facial fitness chewing gum, and it'll help give you a stronger, more protrudent jaw, help you with breathing, from looking more attractive and everything like that. If you're under age 25, you have the ability to change the shape of your jaw relatively easily through consistency with chewing a hard gum and chew off chimpanzees are not our ancestors because we are technically apes. They still spend over 1/3 of their day chewing. So chew hard gum. You want a sick jawline and you want to improve your overall health. Both of these are also linked in the description in my kits. All right, so here we are 3 hours later, ready now for meal number 2, which is gonna be, you ready for this? This is the same exact thing as just meal number 1. It's only 40 grams of grass-fed, grass-finished whey protein powder, no creatine, no cacao powder. I just use the same exact cup so I don't have to waste time cleaning it. And you'll have 2 questions in your head right now. Number 1, why are we consuming so much protein? And number 2, why have we not eaten any actual real food? So on the second question first, I don't like eating a heavy meal or any meal at all earlier on in the day. It leaves me feeling lethargic, leaves me feeling bloated, leaves me feeling lazy. Some people do like eating a big breakfast, get fueled up, and I just am not one of those people. I really, truly love intermittent fasting. I feel phenomenal when I'm on it. So I would prefer not to eat anything, but the second key pillar to a perfect diet is to have an adequate amount of protein inside of you, which is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. This is because protein allows you to do 2 very important things. Number 1, gain muscle mass, and number 2, maintain the muscle mass you have, which is especially important as you age. Having muscle mass will allow you to burn calories at rest. It'll allow you to protect your bones and your joints. It'll also help with your stability, your cognitive function, and your overall body functioning. And it'll help you repair cells and tissues, which will prevent you from chronic diseases, cancer, strokes, heart attack, and it reduces the inflammation in your body, which causes chronic diseases like cancer, strokes, and heart attacks. Right now, I'm about 175 pounds. So I had 60 grams of protein first meal. I have 40 grams of protein this meal. So it's 100 grams. That means now for the rest of the day, I only need 75 grams of protein to hit my 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight goal. Any diet that compromises protein will set you up to die sooner, and it is not healthy. Yo, check it out, bro. So right now I'm back from the gym. I also got a haircut. Boy's looking pretty sexy, am I right? And it's time for my first meal. And especially since most days of the week I go to the gym instead of boxing or kickboxing, I am pretty hungry. Now, my favorite go-to meal is simply steak and sweet potatoes. I made an entire video covering it, how I make it. And pro tip, if you buy from local farmers, like hop on Facebook Marketplace, you'll find some people near you. You will get steak at 1/3 of the price of Safeway or Walmart or Target or whatever. But occasionally my family will cook some decent food, whether it's keema, chicken karai, naan, paratha, etc. And today my mom made chicken karai. So that means that's what I'm gonna eat for my first official meal. Now, as for the food we cook at home, I've gotten my family on the healthy bandwagon. I make sure that the beef we buy is grass-fed, grass-finished. I also make sure that when we buy chicken, it tends to be organic. I've thrown in all the spices, the pre-made ones in our house that contain artificial food colorings. I get my mom to cook in olive oil or grass-fed butter, not with some nasty soybean or vegetable oil garbage. And I do my best to ensure that whatever spices come in or whatever miscellaneous stuff we have is the highest quality. So for example, here we have paratha, which is just, if you don't know, it's just flour bread, kind of like a tortilla, but a Pakistani version. It is made from grains, which is an L, but I make sure the grains we get are organic and the best possible ones. That way it ensures that there's the least possible contaminants from things like atrazine, they get moldy and all that stuff like that. But I will be honest, for this meal, sometimes I just grab leftovers from the fridge whenever we get food from outside, which is fairly often. Now, some people will spurg out, oh, he ate food from outside, that's not healthy and all this stuff. When I say eat out, I don't mean like Taco Bell or McDonald's or some drive-through like Panda Express kind of thing. Yes, I do that stuff every now and then, but it's a very like rare occasion. I'm talking about we go to some kebab house, we go to a desi restaurant, and there are leftovers. Now, yes, that is not the healthiest type of food because likely it was cooked with vegetable oils. It likely has food dyes in it. And it's not organic chicken. Also, the grains it comes from is probably not organic either. But I'm not that detailed about diet. Yes, it could be healthier and all this and that. But there's a really powerful quote that you shouldn't be so righteous that it drives you mad. It is gonna save me so much time to just eat the leftovers in the fridge versus making my own steak and sweet potato. I'm not gonna let food go to waste. So if there are leftovers 2 to 3 times a week, I will just eat those. But now that I fill up my paper plate, because I don't wanna waste time cleaning and putting stuff in the dishwasher, but I fill up my plate with my chicken karai and my paratha, I want to tell you about the second pillar of having a perfect diet, and that is making sure that you are adequately nourished, which is a fancy way of saying eat to an amount where you won't be a fat ass, but you also won't be anorexic. This is because when you are overly nourished, you're basically consuming too many calories, your body can't burn, you're basically fat, obese, unhealthy, like the majority of Americans are. The excess fat you gain will be called visceral fat, which is especially common around your liver. So all these fat people have like very fat guts right here. And that is the absolute most toxic possible fat you could have, because that skyrockets your risk of chronic diseases, Alzheimer's, and death. You do not want to be obese. You will die sooner and you will live a miserable existence. Also, quick pro tip, use a silicone food cover. Do not use a plastic one. The last thing you want to be doing is heating up plastic. That is a bad way to go. And also, by the way, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but when you eat foods that are metabolically healthy, it's actually very hard to become obese. This is the craziest thing I learned. I started learning about diet. When you eat real whole foods you can point to and name that are organic, it's actually a bit difficult to gain weight on a bulk. So all these people that are getting fat in the US, yes, okay, it's their fault and it is social pressure because there's no like incentive to not be fat. Whereas in other cultures, you just are not allowed to be fat, like if you're Korean. But we see in the Midwest especially, people are way more obese. And that's simply because I believe it's where they spray all the herbicides, like atrazine and other nasty ones, that like our corn and our crops come from. But now on the flip side of this, you cannot be super skinny. You cannot be undernourished, because when you are skinny, I see a lot of people in this biohacking community talk about like multiple day fasting nonstop based on some studies in mice that are very weak evidence-wise, because mice live for way shorter than humans do. But the point I'm trying to make is if you are not consuming enough calories, that likely means you're not consuming enough protein, and we know how important protein is, but you don't have enough fuel for your workouts to exercise, which is the greatest tool you have to live longer and be healthier. So make sure you are getting enough calories in to sustain your current path in life. So right now, for example, I'm at the bottom of my cut and I'm trying to gain weight. I could count calories, but that's very excessive. What I found to be the best way possible is know what you're hitting for your protein goals, but simply track your weight. Set a goal to gain X amount of weight per week. For me, I have the list up in my room, but I think it's about a little under 1 pound per week. And then every morning after I've done like my number 2 in the bathroom, I simply weigh myself with a Bluetooth scale. You can use any scale on the market, but the one I have is linked in the description in my wellness kit. And I use that scale, which syncs up to Apple Health, takes an average of my weight, and I basically see, am I on track to that goal? This is so much easier than counting calories. Now, these 3 things that we talked about, being adequately nourished, having enough protein in you, and being metabolically healthy, are the 3 key pillars of a perfect diet. If you hit all 3 of these with your current diet, or a diet that you want to do, you're basically set. If you want to go more plant-based, go for it. You want to go more animal-based, go for it. You want to go more keto, go for it. Whatever makes you happy, but make sure you hit these 3 pillars. Any diet which does not follow these 3 pillars, you want to avoid like a pride parade in June. That stuff is not good for you. It's going to leave you scarred for the rest of your life. Yo, check it out, bro. Last meal of the day, we are going to eat, or actually, shall I say, drink some eggs. Now, eggs, you already know, are a fantastic source of vitamin D, of protein, of cholesterol, of zinc, of all the good omega-3s, all the good amazing stuff your body needs, and especially will help you in the production of testosterone. But when you consume eggs at night, hour or two before bed, your body can utilize these nutrients way more than compared to earlier on in the day. And the way I eat my eggs, I take the egg, take my cup, crack the egg into a cup, just like that. Delicious. Do that 4 or 5 eggs, and I've crossed off the last section of my perfect diet, which is getting my protein in. So you add it up throughout the day, 60 grams of powder, another 40 grams of powder, then the chicken, then about 6 grams of protein per egg, 4 to 5 eggs. Comes out to my body weight, 174-ish pounds right now. All right, 4th egg. Now, the best eggs you can buy will be organic, pasture-raised, and certified humane. If you check all 3 of those labels, you have the best eggs in the entire world. What those all mean, essentially, that the hens that produce the eggs were not cooped up in a barn with 1,000 other hens. They weren't caged up. They have access to the outdoors, plenty of sunlight, a diverse range of vegetation, and so much more. These, environmental woke types are watching over them to make sure they've actually been treated well. And therefore, you will get eggs with double the nutritional quality compared to other eggs. However, it is very hard to find all 3. The ones at Safeway, the best ones I've found near me, are pasture raised and certified humane. Where it is? Certified humane label right there. I have not found organic pasture raised and certified humane, but at the very least, get pasture raised eggs. Those will be a phenomenally better type. And then on top of that, when you don't actually cook the egg, you get 20% more nutrients because 20% of it is lost in the cooking process. Don't worry about salmonella or anything. All hens now are vaccinated, eggs are sanitized, and so much more. I've been doing this for almost a year now, and I'm healthier than ever before. And when you don't actually cook the egg, you're not wasting time cleaning the pan, adding salt and pepper, putting it in the dishwasher. There's no cleanup required. I usually have a paper cup, but today I just have a glass one, so I have to wash this in the dishwasher like a peasant. But in short, that is what I eat in a day, and that is the 3 key pillars of a perfect diet. I know I didn't cover like a ton of stuff in this video, but focus more on what I didn't put into my body. I'm not eating pre-processed, garbage, pre-packaged food that's in plastic. I'm not eating grain-fed protein powder. I'm not consuming stuff that has food dyes. I'm eating whole foods I can point to and name, and doing my best to keep it reasonable in our world. Anyone can easily, and anyone who does follow these 3 key pillars will move phenomenally further in life. They'll make big strides forward because your diet has a massive impact, everything from your performance in the gym to your mood and so much more. All right, give this stuff a shot. I'm wishing you the absolute best. Try it out, a couple tweaks here or there. Maybe switch your protein to grass-fed, maybe try the egg thing. You never know just how much better your life may feel. Anyway, bro, wish you the absolute best. You're one step closer, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.